in the aisles of the venues, and I really want to bring this to the spotlight.
For sure. Well, we'll give it a few minutes before we start.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm an expert. I have made all the mistakes many times.
Wow.
How's that saying? When an experienced guy is the one who has made a lot of mistakes, isn't it?
Right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Experience is the result of many mistakes.
Right.
Yeah.
I was up early making videos, and I'm so old-fashioned that I still make my notes of the videos on the back of these.
Wow.
Yeah, these are my
Hello.
favorite. I don't throw these away. These are my favorite.
Is this the badge of a meeting? What is that?
Oh no. When you
The back
wear
of a badge.
with your surgical gown, this is the paper.
Okay, yes. Yeah, now I got it.
Oh, are you guys having some echo in the audio?
No.
Sounds good to me.
No, it's okay.
Okay. Oh,
I'll just close my door behind me, okay? Just a minute.
oh. Yeah. Okay, we're waiting some minutes for the audience to join in, and one of my plans, Uday, is to pay a visit to your facility someday, because I've seen your surgical center in your videos, and it's like watching Disneyland.
I don't know. I like to watch the Brasileiros. When you guys do your patients, the public hospital patients. Wow, that's incredible efficiency. Much better than me.
Yeah.
Milton's been to Neto Rosatelli's theater.
Right.
He said
is
it was
amazing.
you have to tell the experience you had, Milton.
Yeah, we had a dinner with Uday and Neto Rosatelli and our team during Braskers, and we had the chance to talk to Neto at that time. And Neto is a fantastic guy. I compare him. I used to be a Formula One doctor for quite a long time, about 10 years. And I compare him to Ayrton Senna, no doubt about it.
I call him Superman.
Yeah, he is.
I'm regular man. He's Superman.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I was talking to him. What the number these days? I work less than before. We'll talk about that today. You change gears in your career.
Mm-hmm.
I do 1,500 cataracts a year. He does that in 1 month.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
it's amazing.
And the reason that I compare him to Ayrton Senna is because you could achieve one lap in his time as Ayrton Senna does, but you cannot stand for 60 laps making the perfect lap every single time. And that's what I saw when I went to watch his surgeries. Each lap, each surgery is absolutely perfect, as we see in his videos. So it's amazing. It's actually, I went there, and when I was coming back to São Paulo, it's a small trip from São Paulo to his hometown. In the way back, I talked to my friend, I don't know, I have to process what I saw, because I'm not grasping what I saw, actually.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's what we should. I should train the robot to copy him.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
And you know, your session during ASCRS was packed. I was amazed. Congratulations.
Thank you. Obrigado.
You can really feel a house, and you know, uh, uh, we should have a session, a cataract coach session here in Brasco as well.
We will next year.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'll be there
Yeah.
in 27 in Salvador.
Yes,
year I
it's
cannot
already
go because-
confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah, this year it's the same week as I'll be in Ireland, Irish College of Ophthalmologists.
Oh, I see.
You know, I'll be coordinating the scientific committee in Brasco next year. So you're gonna have the full the biggest
Room.
auditorium for the cataract coach session.
We'll have fun. Well, the best part of the session is to have panelists who are like the ones I had in ASRS, which is Rosa Bragamili from Toronto and DP Dallowell from Pittsburgh. I like them because they are tough. And if I do something wrong, they will tell me that no, that's not good. I don't want ever to have a panelist who says, "Okay, good job. Don't tell me good job."
And you know, in some of our conversations, I had an idea about how disciplined you are, and it doesn't show off because we see only the front end, but you have told me about some of your habits, and I was amazed about your discipline, and you don't show it off.
Well, everyone sees your output, but they don't understand
Yeah,
what the input is.
yeah, and I love this part.
Yeah. Well, we're 8 o'clock. Let's start.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna make the opening of this session. I'm very happy to have here our dear friend, our Brazilian friend surgeon, Dr. Uday Devgan. Actually, he's a global citizen now. Uh, I see him traveling worldwide, uh, meeting friends, and bringing his light to so many of our colleagues globally. Uh, I'm joining here with a small group from my learning team. Our group is starting something new, which is called My Learning The Edge. I mean, the edge is related to some things that we leave out of the normal venues, but we think it's very important, especially now that society is moving towards more technology, more widespread knowledge, and so on. And I see that doctors are are coming back to their roots in human sciences, in soft skills, and I love that. I really love that, and that's why I wanted to make sure that our first session would be someone who could embody or represent the same idea. Although we all know from the hard skills, because Dr. Uday has the most popular cataract channel in YouTube, but having known him for 15 years now,
Maybe more. Maybe
yeah,
almost.
yeah, you're right. Let's make it 15 years and it's okay. But anyways, I know I love the other side that he has in terms of his activity, and that's why he was chosen by our group to be invited for this first session, opening the My Learning the Edge. It's something that we have planned very dearly, and hopefully in the end of the year we will have a meeting here in São Paulo with some invited guests to bring in these and other topics. Good morning, my friend Dr. Uday. Nice to have you here.
Thank you, Milton. It's always a pleasure. Yeah, we've known each other a very long time. I still remember The first time when we had a meeting at the unique hotel there and enjoyed that rooftop. And I could not believe what a mega city, how huge Sao Paulo was. I couldn't believe it. Much bigger than Los Angeles.
Oh,
So we had a great time together for sure. But I got to tell you, as you know, I've made all the mistakes, and I've made all the mistakes many times. You know, it's interesting. I was thinking back, like, you know, I think I have a video of this because obviously, we have a lot of Cataract Coach videos. And I looked up and there's video 1741.
okay.
This is the mistake I made initially, which was the video is called How Do You Define and Measure Success? And when I first started in my practice, when I was in my 30s, I thought this was the answer: surgical volume, income, job title. That's what I thought was the answer. But that doesn't make sense to me anymore. So now my measure of success is enjoyment time,
Wow.
relationships, health, and then now income, job title, and surgical volume. Very different than what I had before. And the key for anyone is you have to decide, how do you measure success? And what's important to you may be different than what's important to me. So I think the key is, if you want to be successful, first define what is success to you. That's probably the number one thing. And so for me, over the years, I really learned that, and it takes some bad things in life to happen. You know, like when my father died a few years ago, he said his only one regret in his whole life was, he says, why did he give away his 50s and his 60s working so hard to make more money? He says, for what? He says, my children don't need any money. They're successful in their own right. He says, I'll give back all the money. Give me 2 more years. And so that just made me think, like, wow, I need to really focus on what's important to me in life, which is time, health, happiness, relationships. So, and me traveling. And that's why, yeah, I'll do less surgery now than I did 20 years ago, 15 years ago, for sure. But I enjoy so much more. And for the young ophthalmologist, I didn't realize any of this until after the age of 50. Because in my 40s, when I was 45, I thought, I'm still young. I'm still in the first half of life. But when you turn 50, you say, for sure, I'm on the second half of life. Because right now I'm 56. I will not live to 112. So the truth is, I'm definitely in the second half. And so let's think differently. Okay, what do I want now? Because my most valuable asset is time, happiness, health, relationships. That's what's so important to me now. So we think differently. And so I think, yeah, that video 1741, it really was important because it asked me, and obviously I learned a lot of this from you, actually, Milton, because you had very important topics about, like, the learning curve and the frustration barrier and these kind of things. So we all learn each other. So I mean, the key is to really learn together. But yeah, that's a nice video of defining and measuring success, and then what does it look like to you? And so we each have to figure that out for ourselves. Yeah, that's the video. So 1741, defining and measuring success. So I think your ideas change. I think in my 30s, when I first met you, maybe almost 20 years ago, I traveled a lot, but my kids were young at the time. And I didn't realize I was making a mistake until one day I come home, and in the mail, it was not email, but regular mail, I got a letter from this hotel company that says, hey, congratulations, you are our diamond level, the highest level, because you stayed in our hotels 62 nights last year. And I thought, wow, 2 months I stayed in this hotel? That was crazy, right? And this is like Hilton hotels around the world. So it's like, well, I forgot about my own family, my own children. And then you know that I took off many years. I would travel, like before, like now, every month to another country. But then for maybe 6, 7 years, zero travel, only with my kids. So I only did family things because I got some advice from a famous ophthalmologist, Dick Lindstrom, who said, he says, spend the time with your kids. They grow up really fast. He says, ophthalmology will always be here. And so then my daughter finished high school and moved away for university in 2017. and my son finished in 2019. And now I don't see them except a few times. Is in medical, which is a 6-hour from Los Angeles, and my son's in Chicago, which is a 4-hour flight. So I don't see them that often. And then you can now imagine when I came back with Cataract Coach, which I started in 2018. So right when they're grown up and gone, okay, that's the next chapter of my life. So it's kind of important for you to define in your own life what's important to you now. And as you can see, even Milton, with your career, you've changed gears a lot. Right? Now it's more important to you to have mentorship and teaching and have the my learning experience. That's different, changing gears here, doing things differently. And so I think that's an important thing to do. Do you have any other, what are the other points? I think you sent me a WhatsApp. Let me look here. So yeah, success for ophthalmology for young surgeons. That's our first question from Rafael.
Yeah,
Decide.
Rafael, can you join in, please? He will make the contest for the question.
Yes, actually, I had a wonderful lunchtime in the ES in the Oscars last year with Fiquei and Bruno Trindade, and it was wonderful because when we talked there, I saw Professor Uday in a different way, more human. So that's why I wonder what is success for him, and he answered now, right? And it's interesting because success, it's a personal thing, right? When we are younger, we think in a different way, and when we get older, we change it, and that's why I asked him that.
Yeah. Certainly, yeah, your goals and your desires in life will keep changing. So it's kind of up to you to decide, okay, at this point in my life, what's important? For me, I don't want to do more surgery. In fact, I'll tell you something so funny. In my clinic now, every year I keep raising my prices, making it more expensive so that I have less volume. I don't want to work more. I want to work less. So I want to do the things that I enjoy. But that's different. In my 30s, when I was your age, I wanted to do more and more and more surgery. So I think that was important. And then finally, one other very, very important lesson that I didn't realize until later is comparison is the thief of joy. Don't compare yourself to someone else. If I compare my surgical skill to Neto, I will think that I'm terrible and I'll hate myself because I cannot do what he does. I just cannot. So I've learned don't compare. That's a really important thing, to not compare yourself to other people. That is so important. And the reason why I thought of like, if you look at a movie, Hollywood movies, you have many famous actors. But if you look at like Leonardo DiCaprio and Jim Carrey and Tom Cruise, they don't go after the same roles. They each have a different personality of who they are. And you're not going to have Jim Carrey doing Mission Impossible. It doesn't make sense. So you don't have to compete with someone else. You can just be yourself. And that's very liberating. Because if I keep comparing myself, I will feel terrible. Because I can never be like some of these surgeons. I just cannot. And that's okay. I don't need to be.
Yeah, and that brings me to another question, with this comparison, this goal setting that everyone sometimes have to set for himself or herself, uh, can be stressful, can bring lots of stress in the career. So how is your experience on career stress toll on doctors? Have you experienced yourself or witnessed something? What can you tell us about it?
A lot of stress. That's the part for all of us. Today's Cataract Coach video is a very subtle sign, and the capsule breaks, and a very experienced surgeon. But it just shows to show you these tough cases, these complications, they take a toll on your life. Sometimes I'll tell a patient who has a very complex surgery, I said, you better be really nice to me because your surgery is going to take 1 week from my life. Like I will live 1 week less now. And if I keep doing that, I'm going to live years less. But these are very stressful things. You also get stress from colleagues. And so unfortunately, we have like a little bit of a crazy system. I'll tell you the craziest story. Why did I start recording videos 25 years ago? When I first started in practice in the year 2000, surgeons in my community didn't want me to come start there. They said, there are enough surgeons here, don't come here. But this is where I grew up. This is where my high school is. I'm just gonna do a practice here. And I learned phaco chop from Bobby Osher. Not in person, but from videotapes. That's why he's my number one. I learned phaco chop from the Nagahara chopper in the 1990s, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I learned how to do it. So when I was in practice, the other surgeons in the community were very slow, 45 minutes for phaco. And I did the phaco very quickly. They made a complaint to the hospital that they said, Uday is doing fake surgery. He's saying he's not even doing it. So how do I prove them wrong? I got on the assistant scope, I got some sort of beam splitter. We had these camcorders from Sony that used deep, and I connected it and I would record a video of every surgery I did. So there's proof. Yes, I did the surgery and I did a beautiful surgery, much better than you. Here's a video proof of every case I was doing. You can't, so now I have, but here's the beauty now. That worked out because at the time, people were just starting to use more and more PowerPoint, and I was the only one who could embed an MPEG-1 low definition video file into my PowerPoint. This is the year 2000, 2001, 2002. And so I had very low depth, 640 by 480 was the pixels. But I had video in my PowerPoint and no one else did. And so that became like, wow, we got to get him. His lectures are great. He's got videos built in. Because back in the day, they'd want to show a video. They'd have to stop and put a VHS tape and play it on a big, no. It's already embedded. So the crazy part is I had videos only because these other doctors who were very crazy complained against me. That's the reason I had video. And then I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna record everything from now on. I love video. And then I moved from that. We had proper cameras, and then I used to burn DVDs. And then from DVDs, and finally get a memory stick. Whoa, fancy. Finally, we upgraded to an HD camera then 10 years later. So it's been a fun ride. But sometimes when you have a tough situation like that, something good can come of it. And for me, it was being a video pioneer like Osher. So it's been a crazy, you could never have predicted it. Oh, you're muted, Dr. Yogi.
Yeah, I think Christina is for the next question. Christina, are you around? She was about to enter. And anyway, I'd better proceed with the other question from Ana Lucia.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, doctor. I'd like to know, do you have any personal story that your followers don't know about your regarding overcoming obstacles?
That's a great point. Yeah. So life is full of obstacles for all of us. And so one I explained to you earlier, when I'm just starting my career, how I have the senior ophthalmologist complain against me that I'm not doing good surgery or pretend surgery. But I'll tell you, everyone has these obstacles in life. I always think I like to give someone the benefit of the doubt because I would know that everyone has ups and downs in their life. No one has a great life with everything. And so I always think life is a zero-sum game, and it all adds up to zero. So if you have incredibly good times right now, enjoy it because the tough times, the difficult times are coming soon. And same way, if you're really suffering right now and life is terrible and there's so many problems, just hang in there, just wait. Good times are coming because it all evens out. It all ends up to being zero. And then every single person has some struggle in their life that you don't see. You just don't realize it. From the outside, it looks, what a perfect life. When I was a resident, I had this retina attending who was amazing. His name was Mark Yoshizumi at UCLA. He didn't teach me anything about the retina. In fact, he wasn't even great at surgery. But he taught me about life. And one day we're doing some retina case. We're waiting for the case to start. And there's a magazine in the waiting area. And the magazine is JFK Jr. This must have been 1999 or the year 2000, somewhere in there. There's a magazine of like, oh, look what a beautiful, I said, what a great life JFK Jr. has. He's so famous, he's rich, he has his beautiful wife. And he said to me, he said, don't ever wish for anyone else's life. He says, be happy in your life. You have problems that at least you can handle. You don't know what they have. And next thing you know, a month later, JFK Jr. dies in an airplane crash. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. You're right. So I've just learned everyone's got their own problems and struggles in life. Give someone the benefit of the doubt because you don't know what battles they're fighting behind the scenes. And then similarly for my own life, there's so many ups. There's so many ups and downs. I would love to say that it's all great. It's just not. And so from the outside, it looks like, oh, what a great life and this and it's not the same. And then finally, there's a saying they have in Silicon Valley, all the tech bros, the tech people. They say life has 4 burners, like on your stovetop when you're cooking dinner, there are 4 burners. You've heard this, I'm sure. You can't run all 4 of them at full heat, maximum heat. You can do maybe 2 of them. And so some people, that means the 2 burners that are maximum energy is their career and maybe their health. But then the suffering is then they don't spend enough time with the family or the friends. So again, you got to figure out what's the correct balance for you and at what point in life. Well, those are all really just great questions. Wow.
Yeah, and I want to maximize your available time with us. Christina is from our group as well, and she got in now, and she has a question for you.
Sure. I think you're muted.
Christina? Yeah. So your mic is closed. Can you open again? Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
I would like to ask about self-development, especially in mental areas. What's your personal approach to maintain a high mentality and your self-development?
That's a great question. I don't know if I have a great answer. At this point, I basically just kind of define what is it I want to achieve. And then I'm very disciplined in just doing it. So in my whole life, I've always been kind of smart. But to be very frank, very honest with you, most ophthalmologists are much smarter than me. But I've always made up for that by just working really, really hard. And so I have a saying like, I don't care how hard it is, I will do it. I will never let someone work harder than me. And if you just think, how much work is it for you to make a video? You get your surgical video from the OR, from the operating room. Okay, make a title slide, put the text on there. Now edit the video, now do a voiceover. Now render it. Now write a description, categorize, keyword optimize it. Now upload it. How much work is that? That's a lot of work. Can you do one for me? Yes. Can you do one a day for 2,900 days in a row and never miss a day? I can. I just did it. It's already done. So for me, I know my personality. My weakness is like, okay, I'm smart enough, but not that smart. But no one can work harder than me. Like I can work really hard. And that's just kind of a personality trait that I've had since I was younger. And so for me, that's my discipline. It's like, I just have to do it. And then I like to challenge myself with things like, as you guys know, I love weightlifting, especially bench press. And so for my age, 56, I can bench press 100 kilos 20 times, which is really, that's in the big gym, that's 2 plates on each side. That's a lot, 100 kilos. And my max is 143. So, but it's just, I just got to push myself. And so there are other questions here that are typed. It's also really important. Anxiety. How do you control anxiety? It's just mind control. You just got to say, listen, it's okay. In surgery, you have a case and you get a complication. What do? Well, we all know the surgical part. Stabilize the eye, don't come out of the eye with the phaco probe, inject viscoelastic, pressurize the AC. But here's one other trick that I do, which is once it's stabilized, I sit back and I think, okay, this is not my patient. I didn't cause a complication. This patient was sent to me with this complication, and now it's my job to fix this complication. And I do a better job. Because if I think that, oh no, I messed up, I have to fix it, you don't operate as well. But if I say, wait, this patient has this ruptured capsule, patient was sent to me, how should I fix it?
Oh,
And by thinking like that, it helps me like, okay, I'll do a better job. Now I'm more relaxed, more calm, and I'm just helping. Because imagine if Dr. Yoji had a broken capsule patient, and he left the patient aphakic and then sent it to you to finish it, you'll do a beautiful job.
yeah.
Better than if you thought it was your own problem. So I use that trick a lot. Any complication, I stop and say, okay, patient was sent to me, how will I fix this?
Well, it's a mental hack.
Yes.
You have a technical problem, you have a hard skill problem, but you overcome that with a soft skill hack in which you activate another part of a brain, another part of behavior, and it's fantastic. I learned. It's a win for my whole month.
Yeah. Here's a question here. I've done a lot of VIP patients. What's your mindset in VIP patients? It's much more difficult to do surgery for a fellow ophthalmologist. Because when I do surgery, I've done surgery for almost, I think, 90 ophthalmologists. I give them a video of the surgery because I say, I know you want to see the video. Here's the video. That's much more stressful because a VIP patient doesn't know anything. They have no idea. VIP patients, they can't even spell ophthalmology, right? They don't know what a cataract is. They have no idea. So VIP patients are easy. There's no problem at all. The best solution for VIP patients, treat them like regular people and they'll be so happy.
Yeah.
Because they just want to be regular people. They're just regular people.
And you know, guys, I had once the opportunity to see some VIPs and celebrities that are patients of Uday, and I was amazed. But anyways, it's another topic.
But you know, none of the celebrities, they don't understand ophthalmology.
Yeah.
They don't understand residual astigmatism. They don't understand a poorly sealing incision. They don't understand an ugly capsulorhexis. They have no idea. But when you give a video of a surgery to the ophthalmologist that you operated on, he or she goes back and watches that video many times.
Yeah. Anyways, what I can say is that seeing some of his pictures was the closest that I got from Star Wars, which I'm a big fan. So, anyways,
Yeah.
it's just a hint that I can give you. We have Ludmila with the next question here, Uday.
Yes. Hi, Professor Uday. Do you have any opinion on the importance of soft skills and mental health in the near future? It's going to be more relevant for us?
Yes, you're right. It is. These soft skills are not usually taught. And so I really applaud Professor Yoji for teaching this right now. No one taught me these things. That's why I said at the beginning, I've made all the mistakes and I've made them many times. It took me a long time to finally learn all these things. So soft skills are super important, especially not only how you deal with your staff, but also how you deal with the patients. And there was a lesson I learned, which was can operate, but it takes a surgeon with smart judgment to know when not to operate. And there are patients that I've learned over the years, when they come in to see me now, I just say, I'm not the surgeon for you. Like, I don't want to do your surgery. And usually it's because of some personality issue where I just think this patient's going to be a lot of grief, a lot of trouble. I just don't want to do it. And so the nice way of saying it is say, I'm just not the surgeon for you. And the patient will say, but why? I want you to do it. And I said, thank you. I really appreciate that. But I know the limitations of my surgery. And I don't think my surgery can meet your expectations. I don't think it'll make you happy. So for that reason, I don't want to disappoint you. And so I don't want to do your surgery, but I'm happy to refer you to someone else. And that makes me so happy to not do a surgery, to be honest. Because I just avoid, because we've all had patients where you do the surgery, it's a beautiful surgery. They're perfectly plano. They're 6/6 vision, 20/20 vision, but they're full of complaints. Everything, negative dysphotopsia, positive dysphotopsia, but now I have more floaters, and now my eye twitches. Once you figure out who those patients are ahead of time, just don't do their surgery. Life is too short. I need less grief in life and more happiness.
Yeah.
There's some good questions coming up here. Wow. Lucho's blowing this up with great questions. How do you avoid burnout and deal with stress? You've got to have some outlet for stress. And for me, that's weightlifting. You lift heavy weights. Everything else seems easier. And you just get the stress out. And so I think that you need to have some sort of outlet. For me, to get rid of the stress, the best thing is some sort of exercise. For me, it's heavy. I like to lift heavy weights. That makes me happy. But if you don't, there are bad ways of dealing with stress too, which is not sleeping enough. And then the bad stress relief is, oh, you got to drink more and more alcohol. There's a limit. You got to be very careful. But for me, yeah, you've got to find some outlet for stress.
Well, it's my turn for the question.
Sure.
And yeah, the question is very intriguing for me because I've been following you for quite a long time. And every now and then you come with a surprise, and now you're deeply involved with robotics and
Right.
AI. You also already involved with AI with your formula, but now it comes with robotics, and it's a major topic in our WhatsApp groups elsewhere here in Brazil. And what are your take? What's your take on robotics for the future younger doctors? There are so many polarized opinions, but having your perception is very important because you're inside the game and you have the privilege perception of what is happening. So you could give us some hints of what we can expect and how can we prepare for what's to come.
Well, first, we know for sure AI is here to stay, 100%. Our original formula, we had a patent in the USA, actually international as well, about using AI to make lens calcs more accurate. We actually sold that patent in January to a large company that you probably know, but I can't discuss. So that's already been sold. And so we are now have other patents. We have a keratofractive patent for AI to help do the calculations. Instead of doing a simple LASIK nomogram, which is we've been doing for 30 years, no, here's a better way of doing it. And then we also have patents in process for other parts of the eye. In terms of the robot, last year in October, we did the first robotic cataract surgery in humans in El Salvador. We did 10 eyes. Now, the important thing is first understanding what does robotic mean. There are many levels of it. The basic level is surgery, meaning the patient is 5 meters, 3 meters away, and I'm here, and I'm operating on a control system, and the patient's a few meters away, or a few kilometers away, or 1,000 kilometers away. So you can do telesurgery. But I don't know how useful that is in just ophthalmology, because Why do I need to sit 3 meters away from? Just go to the patient, do the surgery. You'll be, if you're net there, you'll be done in 2 minutes. So that's one. But the second step is, can we augment? Meaning, if I have a tremor, the robot takes it away. Can the robot increase my precision? Today, when we work in the eye, you may not realize it, but we have extra precision by virtue of pivoting in the incision. So we have an instrument, like your chopper, inside the eye is 4 millimeters, 5 millimeters. Outside the eye is 50 millimeters, or even more. Well, you have a reduction. So when you pivot outside the eye, you move out the eye 20 to 1. You move outside the eye 20 millimeters. Inside the eye, the tip only moves 1 millimeter because you have that the different ratios there. So we already do it now to increase precision. We pivot in the eye. That's literally the reason why we do it. Well, if you can have the robot become even more precise, I've tried in the lab, my best ability is about 40 microns of precision. The robot can do 5 microns. So if you're peeling an epiretinal membrane, well, the robot can now do an OCT scan real time, and you can put your pick and advance it, and you say, advance 5 more microns, 5 more microns, 5 more microns, now let's peel it. Well, you couldn't do that with just your hands. So the robot can bring that. The second thing is the robot can detect things before you. And so our robot has 2 4K cameras, plus it has a real-time OCT built in, and it. So the second there's an issue, it'll tell you. So that it captures the view of where the rexus is. If the rexus moves a little bit, and you may not notice it, the robot will say, warning, probably loose zonules in this quadrant, the rexus moved. You shouldn't move the rexus, right? The rexus should be still. So you'll know, some zonulopathy. Or if the capsule breaks, it'll tell you immediately. Or you put the lens in, the robot will say, no, OCT, lens not in the bag. When you're driving a car now and you don't stay in your lane and the steering wheel vibrates a little bit, haptic feedback, you'll have that in the robot too as you operate. And then finally, the robot can also react very quickly. You can tell the robot, okay, if there's a problem, I want you to retract from the eye. Well, we talked about F1 race car drivers. A normal human reaction time is 250 milliseconds. All of you are great surgeons, probably 200 milliseconds. F1 race car driver, 150 milliseconds reaction time, even better. The robot's 5. You just can't beat that. It's just not possible for a human to beat that. So very quick to react. And then the last kind of frontiers. Oh, you can also do one more thing. You can program the robot to say, as I operate, if I'm driving the robot, never let my phaco tip be less than 10 microns from the posterior capsule. Never let my phaco tip touch the iris. It will not. It will not let you. You can program this. You can put in, we call it like guardrails or no-fly zones. Don't go there. Okay, it won't. But I think the ultimate, and we saw these videos, I had them up online, but I had to take them down because our company doesn't want them out there. The robot can do the surgery solo. You can supervise the robot. You can do surgeon control, or you can do surgeon supervision. And ultimately, you're going to have an automated procedure where the robot does the entire surgery. That's not bad. Refractive surgery. 30 years ago, you did radial keratotomy, RK. You would never do that now. That's with your hand, right? Radial keratotomy. I've never even done one, ever. Do you want to use a femtosecond laser or excimer laser, or do you want to do radial keratotomy? Come on, no question. So it's the same way here. When you do PRK in your clinic, especially trans-epithelial PRK, what do? You step on a pedal. But that's not, the surgical judgment, though, is what got you there. So this will be very similar, where you'll go have the surgery there, and the robot can automate these steps for you. You can say, I want my incision to be exactly like this. Triplanar. The first part, I want 20% depth. I want this long, and the program you want, it'll do it every time. So you'll have incredible consistency. Now, initially, the robot's only going to do routine cases. But eventually, you'll start doing more complicated ones too. So as the robot does the routine cases, that means all the difficult cases are for you. The robots can do all the easy ones. All the 2+ nuclear sclerosis with 8 mm pupil, that's for the robot. You get the small pupil, loose zonules, weak tissues, dense brunescent, that's for you, for now. But it's not a bad thing. I promise you, you're going to love it the same way you love an excimer laser now. And the other thing is we can think differently. Right now, we want to use the robot to emulate my hands. But just think, when you made an excimer laser, you didn't say, do RK but with a laser. No. You said, just reshape the whole cornea. So maybe there's a different way of doing cataract surgery that we're going to figure out. But we can't do now because of just we're limited by 2 hands and the way we operate. But is there another way we could do it? So all this we'll kind of figure out. Like things that we can't do, very difficult for me to make a nasal incision. Right? There's not, the nose, how do I get there? My hands are too big. And I have size 8 hands, which is terrible. It's too big. So the robot will think differently and do surgery differently. But it's for sure coming. You're not going to avoid this. So, but that's the normal. In ophthalmology, the only constant is change. You don't do surgery the same way you did it 10 years ago or 20 years ago. You don't. You do a newer surgery, newer techniques, newer lenses, smaller incisions, less invasive. It keeps evolving. Do you remember in the community that sometimes there are these older surgeons who only do extra cap, ECCE? That's what they learned in their training. They never learned phaco, so they say, I'm not going to do it. Well, the robot's the same way. You're going to have to learn to do it too. But I promise it won't be bad, but it'll be really good. In 5 of our cases there, we had the robot basically doing the phaco solo. I didn't touch it even. I wasn't touching the controls. And so, and it all went beautifully.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know,
and now
I
we're getting,
think,
there's newer and newer generations of robots. So even ours, the robot I used in El Salvador last year is not the one we're using now.
yeah, I'm sure every improvement is for good, is for the best for our patients and for ourselves. But the great fear is what's gonna happen to us? What are you gonna serve for? What is gonna be our use? So I say, what I think is this AI stuff for the hard work. I mean the paperwork and lens calculations and the robot doing the surgery. We will still be very important because we are the ones who have to talk to our patients, to listen to the patients, and we have to improve our skills to do this every day, better and better with time. And we have more time for that, not with the pressure of this other thing. So I think it's going to be a good thing for us in the end.
I think so too. I think it really is. Because look at excimer laser. When you do LASIK, what do you actually do? You lift a flap, the robot can lift the flap. It's nothing. That's easy. You do PRK, you do none of that. You just step on a pedal. And you don't want to do radiokeratotomy again, do you? No. So same thing with this. You're going to want to do it this way. We're going to try our best to make it so amazing that you're going to love it. But the robot is for sure coming. If you look at the videos, what we did earlier, in October, we made the decision for the trial because we wanted to be the world's first. Initially, we did the robot that only had one operating arm and one fixation arm. But now, as soon as the trial was over, actually, that's not even the new robot we're doing. It has 2 arms to operate and then 1 arm to fixate the eye. It's like a small little suction ring, low, 20 millimeters of mercury, very low, to hold the eye still. And then as we operate. So now, again, it's a newer robot. And now since then, we have another company making a robot out of Israel. They also did their first human last month, or February, 2 months ago. And so this is coming. But again, think about the different levels. There's just telesurgery. There's augmenting your skills, taking away tremors, making you more precise. There's detecting complications or problems early, which the robot can do because of the OCT and the very, very fast processing. There's quick reaction times. There's the ability to put in no-fly zones or protected areas. Don't damage the capsule. Don't let the probe hit the iris. And then finally, there's automation, where the robot can actually do the steps for you. And then finally, in the future, we may do surgery differently now that we're not confined by having human hands. So interesting.
It was a wonderful meeting here. I thank you so much for your time, and by bringing some insights from the perspective of our mental attitude, but also in the end, bringing up these aspects of robotics that you are a front runner. I thank you so much. And just as a finishing thing here, I want to add the importance for us as doctors, as surgeons, that we continue to improve the knowledge. It is what is going to save us from being better than AI.
Right.
Yeah, because as Uday mentioned, AI will have all the knowledge, but there is one step above knowledge. I studied it because there are some levels in terms of data, and then information, and then knowledge. And knowledge is coming from AI, but there is one thing that I don't think AI will surpass us, which is reason. It's what Uday said. I know how to perform your surgery. I can perform your surgery. Knowledge empowers me to perform your surgery. And the robot will not say no because he has only knowledge. But I have my own wisdom. And for me, maybe I'm not the guy for you. Maybe I wouldn't recommend this surgery for you. And why is that, doctor? It's not on the realm of knowledge, but it's in the realm of my wisdom accumulate throughout the years. So I think we this is our real hope. We have to aim now for wisdom as an upper level from knowledge. And well, I want to invite you, Uday, to bring in some final remarks to end this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Milton. Always a pleasure to do projects with you. I really admire your work. But let's finally leave it with just decide what's important to you and then focus on achieving that. And keep in mind, things change throughout your careers. At least every 10 years, you've got to do something different. And so just keep re-evaluating every 5, every 10 years, what do I want to do differently now? And then pursue that. And for me, that means more of these fun projects, the AI projects, the robot, more cataract coach stuff, more traveling. I'll do a little less surgery. I don't need to do 10,000 surgeries a year. I can do 1,000 and be very happy. And so I think setting your goals and then achieving them is what all brings us happiness and satisfaction. Thank you so much, Professor.
Thank you, obrigado, my Brazilian friend from US. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. The recording will be available on YouTube. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.